Earlier this year, severe winter storms focused the attention of the entire nation on the metro Atlanta area.
This could be some of the coldest temps in at least 10 years, maybe even 20 for some places. It's quite the cold snap here.
But while horrific stories of lives lost, numerous accidents and motorists stranded for hours on gridlocked roads raised questions of emergency preparedness in some areas, DeKalb County stood prepared for all that Mother Nature had in store.
We brought all of our county resources together, from infrastructure, roads, drainage, our sanitation, with our public safety functions, police, fire, and others, to make sure that we have a plan in case of the worst case scenario.
In fact, no matter what Mother Nature brings to DeKalb County, our leaders and hardworking personnel are prepared with a plan of action, all to render the best aid possible during potential and existing weather threats.
Before the event, we work specifically to make sure that fire rescue is ready, that PD is ready, and they have all their contingency plans, that they have a place to stay to bring in extra officers. How are we going to feed those folks if they get stuck?
And then our next strategy is our major roadways. And then we have some hotspot roadways that we know we typically have problems in cold weather or rainy weather. We'll take care of those. And then we're just going to go countywide.
In the height of the recent winter storms, DeKalb officials held a press conference to alert residents to warming stations, road closures, and critical information they needed to get safely through it all.
The sheriff has offered his facility again as a warming center.
All the planning and preparation has and is paying off. During the two major winter storms of 2014, DeKalb responded to more than 2,100 accidents, and during it all, there were no weather-related fatalities. Early one hot July morning, roads and drainage employees Harvey Carter and Sean Brown were sitting just outside of the Manuel Maloof Government Center. But before the office opened its doors, there was a startling knock on theirs.
A lady began to knock and beat on a truck, telling us that a lady right across the street was being robbed.
That lady was Cassandra Muzan, an employee in the Solicitor General's office.
Well, the lady was screaming and she was like, "Call 911." So I looked over in the parking lot and seen the lady getting carjacked.
We looked and saw the young guy robbing the lady, and we assisted with trying to stop him from robbing her. And at that time, we pulled out trying to block him at that time, and he was coming at such a rapid speed that I had to get out of his way and let him through.
Without hesitation, the men jumped into action. Responding quickly, Carter followed the car fleeing through Decatur, while Brown called the police.
The guy pulled out the parking lot and pulled down Trinity at the light, so we pulled on the side of him, and then he reached for the gun. So then we pulled up more and made a U-turn, and I had 911 on the line, talking to them the whole time while we followed them.
Decatur police arrived and arrested the assailant, who ended up losing control of the vehicle at the intersection of Candler and Kirk Road. And although these employees refused the title of hero, the carjacking victim says she's grateful for their selfless efforts.
I have seen her and I've talked to her, and she thanked me and my friend for what we've done. And she was a little shaken up, but I told her it could have been worse than that, because she said she had just dropped her son off 10 minutes ago.
I don't care who it was. You gotta do it.
After more than 2 months of extensive training, a nervous but prepared Crystal Morrow was ready to start her first full day as a DeKalb 911 operator. When just 4 hours into her first day, she recognized the voice on the other end of the phone.
I hear my aunt's voice on the other line.
Morrow continued the call as she was trained to do, knowing that the act of identifying herself would only delay the response her aunt so desperately needed at that time.
Well, she said there was a 55-year-old male who was diabetic, who was having complications, and that's why I knew she was talking about my father.
Morrow dispatched an ambulance, possibly saving her own father's life. Responding through training and not through emotion, she credits the preparation she received from DeKalb's E911 program, including the training she received from Danielle Harvey, recently named the 2014 Smart Telecommunicator Award recipient.
I just keep telling them over and over, I need to stay calm. And before they're released, I always ask them, would you want you to take a call from your mom? If they say yes, you're good to go.
For DeKalb's 911 operators, being good to go means being prepared to be compassionate, responsive, and professional during the most critical and life-changing moments reflected in the 1.2 million calls this center receives each year.
Here in DeKalb, we are the first line of DeKalb's finest. We have the finest operators, and we handle things that other agencies handle once a year, once a day. We make things happen. We do what we have to do, but we get it done right, and we go on to the next thing.
And while the success of Morrow saving her own father's life has recently garnered national media attention, she points more to the resilience of her colleagues and their day-to-day commitment to the citizens of DeKalb County as her response to the question of whether she considers herself to be a hero.
Do I? I mean, I hear it, but I think we're all heroes in here. We're all heroes, not just me.
Time and time again, DeKalb County's dedicated workforce of 7,000 employees proves to be dedicated servants to the people of DeKalb County.
They are, in fact, our most valuable asset, and we recognize that we can do nothing significant without the endorsement, the acceptance, and the enthusiasm of our employees.
Indeed, for these dedicated employees who continually stand ready and resilient to not only do their jobs, but go above and beyond the call of duty, what many would consider to be acts of heroism for these public servants are simply all in a day's work.
Well, it says that we are all in this thing together. When we're divided, when we don't care about the interests of others, then we'll be a weak county. But when we come together with the interests of the other person in mind, we will continue to be a strong county, and we will do great things in the future.